So, following on from yesterday, the day before, wedding tips, 18 wedding tips. This is video number 2, and we are going to carry on with just talking about general stuff for a moment, and then we're going to get on to parts of the day. So, general stuff, this is where I'm pretty sure I got to in the last video. We talked about gear, main camera, backup camera, zoom lens. In this case, it's on my DX500, so it's crop sensor. It's an 16 to 80 zoom, so it's a full frame equivalent, 24 to 120, 2.8 to f4, a portrait lens. So on the crop sensor camera, I'll use my 58 1.4, which will make it into about an 86 or 7mm portrait lens. If I'm using the D780, which I will do at some point during the day, then I've got the 85, or we could even go for the my beautiful portrait lens 135 f2 defocus lens. We can use that. A flash, which I think I showed you yesterday, with a modifier, so just an on-camera flash but used off camera, with a modifier that just makes it a bit softer, and it's not too big and heavy. I could, if I needed to, and possibly during the first dance, we'll come on to that later, could use that on camera. And of course, spare batteries. I mentioned the stool yesterday. I remember talking about that. So then on to the next one. Number 5, video. For about 4 years now, I think, probably since COVID started, to differentiate myself from other wedding photographers, I started to offer video, whole video throughout the day. Now this is nothing clever. This is, I can't show you because I'm using the tripod. This is my phone, where I've downloaded I don't know, a $15 app or something, a video app, which gives you manual control over video. I use that, and that's what I use for video. And I'll be absolutely honest and say that it's no one, and I must have used it now on 150 weddings or more, no one has ever complained about the video quality. It is actually much easier for the sort of level of video that I'm talking about. It's much easier to use than a camera. A camera, I don't know, no, I've used mine back when I had the Z6 II. I can remember I tried that, and this phone, and pretty well all phones, and it's getting really bright now, isn't it? The sun's come out. I'm sorry, I've got a bit too bright. Let me just adjust this. I don't know if I can do this. I can't do it while the video is running. Sorry, the lights changed. The sun came out and it was blasting through the window, and so I've just pulled the blind down. So the light has probably switched from what it was just now. So yeah, video. Using the phone, and any modern phone with a professional video app on will give you great photos. It's actually works better, I found, than the camera, a camera. The face tracking seems to be better. I don't have any videos where it's out of focus, and all I do is I pop it onto this tripod, get it in the right place, get in the shot I want, hit record, and walk away and do my photography. So I will do this at, well, all stages of the wedding. So prep, I'll just stand it in the corner and we'll get some shots of prep. Maybe at some point I'll pick the tripod up and plonk it a bit near the bride when she's having her makeup done, just to get a few, literally 30 seconds worth of close-ups. And then all this is later on edited. I maybe, when the bride is walking into the ceremony, walking from prep to the ceremony, I'll just plop it down, turn it on, then I'll go off, follow the bride as she walks to the ceremony, and the video is running for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, of which I'll use maybe 20 seconds worth in the final video that I'll give them. Ceremony, I'll stand, if I'm standing facing the bride and groom are there, then the video will be on the opposite side of the ceremony table. There's normally a table or something there, and obviously facing them. So I'll just turn it on before the bride walks in. or any of the bridesmaid, flower girls, whatever. Turn it on then, so record the whole ceremony, bride walking up the aisle, the whole ceremony, and then when we get to the end of the ceremony and the bride and groom then sit down, come onto the table to sign the register, I'll grab the tripod, go to the other end of the ceremony room, and then record them walking out of the ceremony. So that's the ceremony. What else will I do? Occasionally use it for confetti, but the problem with that is most of the time I'm standing in front of the camera of the video as I walk backwards, and all I get in the video is my back, so I don't usually do confetti anymore. But speeches, it's just a matter of turning it on and pointing at whoever's doing the speech, leave it, walk away, do photography. So it's not a big deal. So ceremony, speeches, cake cutting, first dance are all the things that I do. Definitely. I may do a few odds and ends in between as well. When I've finished, get back home, upload all that, and using Filmora, Wondershare video editor is the one I use. I will just edit that. I've probably got an hour and 30 minutes or so video. I'll edit that down to about 30 minutes and give that to the bride and groom. It's another product that doesn't really take me too long. It takes me maybe an hour and a half to edit, and that's another product that most other wedding photographers won't be doing. So it ticks another box. Right, that's video. Wedding album. I include a wedding album with my packages always. Time was when I didn't, and it was an optional extra, and no one ever bought a wedding album. I then included it into my packages, and the cost, honestly, is about £40. It's not a handmade Italian leather bound superb wedding album. It's a photo book. It's a 12-inch square hardcover 20-page album, photo album, that again I've delivered 250 probably of these. No, maybe not 200, but I have never, I'm just trying to think, I'm sure I'm right, never had anyone come back and say, oh, I don't like this is rubbish, this is low quality, or anything like that. The only comments I've had are, oh, that was lovely, that was really summarised the day, that was beautiful. So the company I buy it from is called Blurb. Now, I don't know if that's available in America or anywhere else, but this here in the UK, it's Blurb. They also provide, and the reason I use them, they also provide the software to create the album, but also, and more importantly, they provide a flipping book online. So once you've done the album, once you've designed it, and by the way, I ask the bride and groom for 40 photos to put in the album. I'll then design the book with those 40 photos plus another 15 or 20 that I'll add that allow me to create something, quite nice. Upload that, and then I can send them a link, and they can click that link and they can see a flipping book. So they just click on it and it flips a page, click on it and flips a page. So they can see the design online. I have not found another wedding album company that do a flipping book. I cannot believe it, but I can't. This is, I think the last time I looked was probably 6 months ago. I couldn't find anyone that did it. Even the really expensive wedding album people don't do it. One Vision Imaging, I forget who the other people are here in the UK. I can't remember, but anyway, I can't find everyone do it. So you have to sort of make the book into a PDF, the wedding album into a PDF, and then send them the PDF, and it's just horribly complicated. So I use Blurb. Right, you can add extra pages and all sorts of things. So a wedding album I definitely include. Okay, so we're now on to parts of the day, and I'm going to go through 3 or 4 of these, and then we'll finish that video, and then we'll do another video to cover the rest of the day. First part of the day, prep. And I really should actually start with, that's where I've started my my notes here. that I really suppose should start with an engagement shoot, because again, I include that as my standard part of my package. I've probably already mentioned that I almost insist on meeting the couple before the wedding. It's a few times I haven't, and it is just horrible walking into prep and not knowing which one's the bride. It's just not a good way to start a wedding. So I like to do the engagement shoot. They get to see how I work. They get to see the photos. I can take all the details of their day. We're done. So that's the first thing. And that engagement shoot, I stress to them when I meet them, is like 15 or 20 minutes of their day. The rest of the day, I'm floating around in the background. I'm taking documentary, candid shots. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not posing people. It's just what happens. I record it. At the end of the group shots, when we've done all those group shots, where obviously I am organising people, we'll come on to that. But at the end of that, we'll go off and do 15 or 20 minutes at 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 places at the venue, which I think will make nice photos. We'll come on to those later. But the engagement shoot is that 15 or 20 minutes of a wedding, nothing like the rest of it. I make sure that I explain that. Okay, so and when we come to talk about the couple photos, that's the sort of stuff that if you're going to do an engagement shoot, you want to be thinking about to do for the engagement shoot. Right, now, one of the things I also mention when I meet the bride and groom is that I will arrive at a certain time, probably about halfway through prep. I want the hair and makeup to be kind of half done, not finished, not only just started. So we try and time it at that sort of time, and that's when I'll arrive. And I will explain to her that the first thing I'll do is not start sticking a camera in people's faces. I will be photographing the dress, the jewellery, the shoes, flowers, all that sort of stuff. So could you please, when you get there, arrive, could you please make sure that I can get to your dress and your shoes and any jewellery and perfume and that, so that I can get out of your way and not interrupt you too much during prep and go off and get those photos. That's what I'll do. So that's the way I start. So people get used to me being there. I'm not taking photographs of people. I'm just maybe sort of in the bedroom or something like that, taking shots of all the details. When I've done that, I will then come out and start getting photographs of people. Again, nice and gently, and I'll start for using the zoom lens. I'll probably have it quite zoomed out so that I can be standing kind of over in the corner, and people are just getting used to my camera going click and click, and after 5 minutes or so, usually they're completely forgotten about me and they're just being completely natural, which is what I want. And then I can start to get closer. I find for prep a full frame equivalent focal length of 24mm or 35 is a really good focal length, because you get in close, you're kind of part of the action. The trouble with using the zoom lens and shooting at like 85 or 120mm from the other side of the room is the photos always have this sort of disconnect. So short focal length, get in close, get shots, be part of the wedding party. I always say to the bride and groom that I don't want to be your wedding photographer. I want to be a privileged guest who happens to have a camera. That's the way I approach a wedding, and it works for me. So as far as camera settings go, pretty much auto everything. I don't use flash because that would really be too intrusive. The hair and makeup people will need good light, so there will be some places which have got good light during prep. And look for interesting shots. Don't just stand there and take pictures of people. Look for reflections, shoot through things. Sit behind other bridesmaids on the bed and shoot through them to the bride having her makeup done. And then also put on a 135 lens, get really, really close and get a super, super close up of lipstick being put on or eyebrows being done. Something like that. Get interesting shots. Don't just sit there and click away. Don't be boring. Okay. So you've seen a few of my shots whilst I've been explaining this. So the only organised shots I would take of prep would be once everyone's got their dress on, bridesmaids, bride, completely finished, ready to go. Let's get a shot of you all before we actually go. And whilst I will organise it, I'll try my very best not to pose anyone. I'll say something like, bride, sit on the edge of the bed there. Bridesmaids, go around the back and give her a big squeeze. And I'll just get the chaos. I want to get the emotion. I want to get the feeling. I don't want to get a pose shot of them all looking very pretty in their dress. Okay, maybe for the so maybe I'll get one shot, you know, bride standing up, bridesmaids each side, all looking at her or something like that. There'll be one shot, but a lot more shots that are much, much more natural and completely unposed. Okay, so that's prep done. Then we go from prep, obviously, to the ceremony. So at some point I will have nipped out and found the groom and the best man. I would have found the rings and any other groomsmen. And I would have got some shots of them. Again, not posed, doing, you know, sitting around on a bench or, but also shots of the rings, close-ups of their buttonholes and that kind of thing, you know, their watch. It's sometimes possible that I can get out, if the bride is getting ready in the same place as the groom's getting ready, then I can sort of nip along to his room, if it's only, you know, 30 seconds away, get some shots of the groom getting ready as well, then come back to the bride and so on and so forth. So we're then on to the ceremony. So here I'm assuming that it's the same venue as prep. I shouldn't do that because 50% of the time it's not the same venue. So many weddings are prep at home, and just a word about prep at home, you are never going to get fantastic award-winning photos in someone's home. Not most of them anyway, maybe, you know, 5%. Most of them are full up with kids' toys, clothes pushed out the way, washing over in the corner, the TV's on. Prep is sometimes chaotic at best. So it may be that prep's there and then we're off to a church for the ceremony, and then we're going to go from the church to the reception. So there might be quite some travelling involved, and if it's in the middle of town, it's a nightmare. And as I say, as I've said in the previous video, prepare, know exactly what you're going to do. So at the ceremony, wherever that is, as I say, I'll get photos of the rings, the best man flowers and the venue and all that kind of stuff. Then if it's, let's assume it's a different venue and the bride is arriving in a car. So I will make sure one important shot to get is the bride arriving in the car, getting out the car. In fact, shots in the car before she gets out, shots getting out the car. Get those shots, maybe walking into the venue with dad or something like that. Then you got to get back into the ceremony, set the video camera up, turn the video on, ready for her to walk in. I used to take tons of photos of the video of the ceremony. I take a lot less these days. I probably don't take more than 40 or so shots in total of the ceremony. Bridesmaids walking up the aisle, 2 shots, halfway up the aisle, and then one a bit closer of bridesmaids walking up the aisle. Flower girls, same sort of thing, maybe 3 or 4 of flower girls if they've got confetti and that, or petals and that sort of thing. That you don't want to miss those shots. Bride walking up the aisle with dad or whoever, probably only need 3 shots as they come in halfway up, and then try and wait for the moment that the bride makes eye contact with the groom and get that shot. Get the groom in the shot over to one side, get the bride there making eye contact, and then they get a couple of steps closer. Dad might shake hands with the groom and that kind of stuff. Get those shots, and then we're into the ceremony. And there's really not an awful lot to do. There's standing there talking, talking to the registrar or to the celebrant or whoever, occasionally looking at each other, and they're the better shots to get. And I'm ready for a shot. And for the whole ceremony, I've got the camera up here. I'm ready, because it's the moments to get are the shots where the bride gives that that look to the bride, to the groom. She just looks across, and that's the shot to get. Not the one where she's looking at the celebrant, not the one where she's, just looking somewhere else or anything like that. And then of course we go on and we get we get to the first kiss. Don't miss the first kiss. And really, this is where and why I've moving towards a zoom lens, away from my prime lens. Probably my prime lens fascination. No, I probably am guilty of overdoing the prime lens things, because I would be shooting with one hand, first kiss, with probably a 35mm lens, clicking that one and getting this camera ready to just drop that one, switch this one over to an 85mm, and I'm going to try and get shots with two cameras of a first kiss, which probably only lasts 3 or 4 seconds. Zoom lens, that life becomes a lot easier. Wide, zoom in, you're done. So don't do what I did. Don't make life too difficult. When they've done the ceremony, they'll then walk round to sign the register or to another table or something like that. At that point, turn the video off, because here in the UK you're not allowed to photograph or video signing of a legal document. Take that down the other end of the ceremony room, ready for them to walk out. As soon as they've signed the register, they've got witnesses, get 4 of them together. It's not a great photo, but you really need to get it, I think, of them maybe pretending to sign the register, maybe not, because these days there isn't actually a register, it's just a piece of paper. So once it's signed, the registrar pops it into a bag and there's nothing to sign. So sometimes there's a pretend book there, sometimes there's not. But get shots of them sitting there. And the thing that I have to say to every single couple is, and I say it jokingly, but I'm actually quite serious, come on guys, pretend you just got married. Because normally they'll be sitting there, one here, one sort of over there somewhere, looking straight ahead. You've got to get them in the mood, get them close, get them cuddling, get the witnesses behind. Come on guys, get down, get close, give them a cuddle, pretend you know them, and get those sort of shots. Lens wise, 24 to 85, and a variety of shots at different focal lengths. And I'll make sure that I shoot at f11, 16 or something, so that I've got the bride with everyone in the background, so that I've got the whole wedding party reasonably well in focus. But I'll also do lots of shots at 1.4, or if I'm using the zoom lens, at 2.8. So you've got a nice variety of shots, but don't go over the top. As I say, 40 or 50 shots for ceremony is plenty. And I'll just cover the next thing, actually, because the next thing is just candid shots. So after the ceremony, they're going to come around to the front of the table and walk back up the aisle. Sometimes it's literally a 3 or 4 second walk, because they're walking up there and they've really got a purpose and they're really getting the move on. You're going to lucky to get 2 or 3 shots. Other times it's lots of waving, clapping, shaking hands with people, sometimes even confetti as they're walking out of the ceremony room. You just got to play it by ear. If they're doing ceremony, if they're doing confetti, then I would put that on low speed, continuous shooting, 5-6 frames a second, and just click, 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 and I'll just walk backwards. With a zoom lens, I'll start fairly zoomed in, so I've got them with confetti just sort of appearing in the corner of the frame, then zoom out as I'm walking backwards, so I've now got everyone in the shot with confetti, that kind of thing. Obviously, I've already turned the video camera on to get them walking out as well. Once they've walked out, they'll normally be given champagne or drink of some sort, and canapes or something, and the rest of the guests will come out. There's normally a bit of a gap before the guests start to come out, so there's a chance to you know, to grab the camera, zoom in, really get some close-up shots of them, you know, taking their first drink of champagne, get the groom out of focus over here and focus on the bride. Some good opportunities for just probably only sort of 30 seconds maybe to get some nice shots of them immediately after the ceremony. Okay, and then the guests come out and we'll continue with what goes on next in the next video. Thanks for watching. Speak again soon.